Hi guys, Kristen here. I hope you're all doing okay. I'd like to talk about how I recovered from anxiety and depression in this video and give you some tips and strategies. Now I'm not a doctor, so the advice I give is just based on my personal experience. So I hope you are seeking professional help as well if you need that at this time. So I'd like to talk about anxiety for a moment. It really helped me to know what was going on with me when I was going through it the first time. So whether you have never experienced this before or you have on numerous occasions, it's good to know that you're okay, you're not going crazy, and your brain chemistry is just a little bit out due to a particular event or traumatic experience. Your brain is now processing events and circumstances and seeing them as threatening. So that's what anxiety is essentially. So you are fearing things that your average person wouldn't fear because your fight or flight response in your brain is a little bit out. The natural fear that we all have that protects us is there for a reason. But when you have anxiety, you fear things that are not threatening. So if you're experiencing panic attacks, the sweating, the heart racing, all that is your fear that is there to protect you. But the problem is you're confused. You're seeing these circumstances as dangerous and they're not. So I just like to reinforce that you're not going crazy and that a lot of people go through anxiety more than you would probably realize. So I won't talk too much about my story because, as I said before, I left the link in the description to what happened to me. But I will talk about how I got through it. Now, the number one thing is that you need support. Now, I know that you've probably heard this a lot, and there's a reason for that. It's very important that you have somebody to talk to and somebody to help you through it. It's 10 times harder on your own. I don't know what it would be like to get through alone because I was lucky enough to have an amazing support system around me. And from somebody who's been through it quite severely, I can tell you that it's hard enough to get through when you have an amazing support network. So I can't even imagine if you're going through this alone. But if you don't have a close family, there are other people you can reach out to. So I'm just going to have a look at the notes here. First of all, there are obviously professionals like psychologists and psychiatrists. So psychologists help with counseling, but they don't prescribe medication, and psychiatrists can prescribe medication as well. Now, I saw both. The first time I did see a psychiatrist and the second time just a psychologist. I did find them helpful, although I wouldn't say they were the thing that helped me recover the most. But they do. I would recommend anybody going through this to get help from a psychologist or a psychiatrist. You may need to be on medication, which we'll talk about in a moment, or if you just need somebody to talk to. Go I know that sometimes it can be a bit expensive. I don't know where you are in the world, but in Australia you can get, or in Melbourne where I'm from, you can go on a mental health plan and get 10 sessions covered by Medicare from a psychologist. And that can help financially. Psychiatrists are quite expensive, I know. So if you're struggling financially, I can understand that. But there are a lot of ways to get help. So counseling, psychologists, psychiatrists. The other thing I want to talk about is the internet. Now, I'm in two minds about this. If you are, for example, going through this for the first time, you don't know what's happening with you, the internet can be quite dangerous. You probably know, if you Google anything, your symptoms, it will come up saying that you've got cancer or you're dying. Same thing with mental health. If you Google your symptoms, you'll probably find a lot of people talking about the fact that they've gone through that as well, but it sounds so much worse and scarier because they'll say, I've been going through this for 20 years or something like that. So try not to go on the internet too much. I did quite a lot, so I don't mean to be a hypocrite, but it can be helpful because you can reach out to somebody, I've got the same symptoms, I've been through that. But it can also be quite damaging because you hear about people who sound a lot worse than you and then you think you'll be like that. So take it with a grain of salt. Remember, everybody's journey is different. So you haven't walked in somebody else's shoes and they haven't walked in your shoes. So there's no comparison really. Somebody might be suffering a lot worse than you. Somebody might be a lot better than you. But you just need to get through what you're going through. So with the internet, there are support forums. If you just Google anxiety, depression, whatever you're experiencing, if you even say, I'm having blah, 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 blah symptom, I'm sure there is something that will come up. And there's so many of them online. So have a look at them and you can chat to other people who are going through that. Just to talk to somebody helps sometimes. Also support groups. If you Google depression and anxiety support groups, that can be very helpful. So in Australia we have organisations such as Beyond Blue, where you can call up and speak to somebody anonymously if you wish. I can't stress how important this is to get support. Okay, so support. Some people unfortunately don't have a family who support them and they think that they can just pull themselves out of this. That's something I need to enforce. You cannot just pull yourself out of this. You may need extra help. Okay, I want to enforce that again. It's not something you can just snap your fingers and fix. Anxiety and depression, if it's quite severe as well. And there are some people that don't understand that. They think that you can just click your fingers and it's a mind thing. You can just pull yourself out of it if you focus. Now when you're in a healthy mindset, that does work sometimes. But when your brain chemicals are out of balance, that's not how it works. So you need to be around people who understand this. So if you don't have a family that understand this, reach out to a friend, somebody that you trust. If you don't really have anybody that you feel you can talk to, that's where psychologists, psychiatrists come in as well. Somebody that you don't know, who doesn't judge you, that can be really helpful. Support groups, calling organisations such as Beyond Blue or wherever you are in the world. If you Google anxiety and depression, there is a lot of support out there. Don't go through this alone. Don't think that you are crazy. Don't think that you're the only one. Don't think that you're weak for going through this alone. I know that's a common one. People often have low self-esteem when this sort of thing happens to them because they think that it means that they don't have the mental strength to get through it. It's not like that. So I'd like to be part of your support network as well if you feel you don't have anybody or whether you just need somebody extra. So you can email me at clearhealthyminds@gmail.com if you have any questions or queries or you just want to talk about anything. Okay, so that's the first step, feeling supported. The next thing I want to talk about is medication. So I'm not a doctor and everybody's situation is different, so I'm never going to say you should go on medication or you shouldn't. A lot of people will tell you either way what to do, and that can form beliefs about medication. Before I went through anxiety quite severely, I had some beliefs about medication that it was very scary, crazy people went on it and it means you're a very imbalanced person. Now that's not true. I've spoken to so many people who are on medication that you wouldn't even think of it. And I'm currently still on a medication to help that anxiety that was just out of control. So if you are on it or you're thinking of going on it, there are so many people that are on it that you wouldn't even know. It's not as scary as you think. Now, a lot of people will tell you, no, stay away from it. And a lot of people say you need to go on it. So I would recommend seeing a professional who you can talk to about your symptoms. And if anxiety is really, really severe and you've tried a lot of other things, it might be helpful. I did not want to go on medication. I was so scared of it. So I tried everything else first. And then that was my last resort. So what antidepressants do is they just take that edge off so you're able to cope. There's more to it if you want to look up what's actually happening in your brain when you take antidepressants, which I've looked up, but I'm not going to go into that. And they can be quite helpful. I feel that it just makes it much easier to cope. But that's me, and some people don't need it and they'll be prescribed it, and some people really need it and they don't go on it, and it could help them in the long run. So all I want to say about medication is don't be afraid. It can have a lot of benefits. But there are other alternatives, and a lot of people don't need to be on it. So speak to a professional about that, because there are side effects as well. And the other thing is that they do take a while to start working. It's not a quick fix. As soon as you take a pill, your anxiety and depression isn't better like that. A lot of the time you have to wait a few weeks for it to have its full effect, which is bad enough when you're going through it. The next thing I want to talk about, self-care. So if you're somebody like me, diet and exercise, you hate those words. I have been struggling to get a balance between eating healthy and exercising for so many years. So I've always been yo-yo dieting since I was a teenager. Put on weight, lose weight, diet, la 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 la. The whole thing just annoys me, and exercise has never been easy for me. Some people, you know, they just love exercise. I wish I was like that, but I'm not. When you're going through anxiety and depression, this is very, very helpful. I follow a vegetarian diet, probably 75% vegan. So a lot of fruits and vegetables. Obviously, you've heard that a lot. Not too much sugar, which if you're feeling like crap, sometimes you may want to indulge in bad foods. I know I did. Well, for me, I couldn't eat during the day, and just at night when I would get a little bit of relief, I would feel hungry. So I would want to eat some yummy foods that were bad. And you know what? I think that's okay. As long as you make the effort to eat as many healthy foods as you can. What you put in your body is obviously very important. If you eat more healthy foods and exercise more, you're gonna feel better. And I know this just sounds like obvious stuff, but exercise, 10 minutes, just go for a walk, just push yourself. I know how hard it is, but exercise gives you endorphins, you know, everybody tells you that. And it's true, it actually is true. Getting out in the fresh air, just going for a walk. And it's so hard when you're depressed. I know how hard it is. But this did help me. Eating more nutritious foods and pushing myself to exercise a little bit. The next thing is writing down. So just getting a little notebook, writing down every thought, as scary as it is, every feeling. Logging your moods really helps. So if you wake up on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is your anxiety? How bad is your depression? It clears the mind. So it gets all that crazy stuff out of your head onto paper. I would recommend doing this. If you're not doing this, write down everything. Now, this is the controversial part. The spirituality, prayer, religion, which a lot of people have their beliefs about. Now, if you are somebody who believes in God, if you're an atheist, if you're a Buddhist, if you're a Muslim, if you're whatever, I can say that from personal experience, this is something that helped me so much. So I know that a lot of people don't believe in a higher power, but I personally choose to. Now, I would pray a lot when I was going through this. Now, I don't belong to an organized religion. I would just consider myself more spiritual. And I'm at that point in my life where I'm questioning a lot of things. But when I was going through this, I really did feel like there was somebody watching me and helping me. And what I would do was I would ask my guides to help me through this really hard period. I would put up these really beautiful Archangel Raphael cards in my room. So this one says recovery, this one is improving health, and this one says expect a miracle. Now, I don't know how you feel about this. If you don't believe and it doesn't connect with you, then that's okay too. But I feel that this really, really helped me. And they're beautiful cards. They just make you feel good. So I think these sort of things, like why not? Just to help. So meditation, so helpful. I can't even tell you how helpful it is. If you are not meditating, start meditating. That's the only thing I'm going to tell you what to do is that you need to. It's so good whether or not you believe in anything or you don't. Meditation is mindfulness. It can help you with so many things. So if you're new to meditating, there is heaps of stuff on YouTube you can Google. I was doing a really powerful one called Twin Hearts Meditation, which is really beautiful. And there's also just lying down or sitting down and deep breathing. So through your abdomen, your diaphragm, breathing in and breathing out. There's a lot of rhythmic breathing. So for example, breathing in for 4, holding for 2, out for 6, or whatever. There's so many of those. Meditate, meditate, meditate. I can't enforce that anymore. It's so helpful. I received pranic healing as well, which was really helpful. As soon as I would get the pranic healing done, I would immediately feel different. Because the idea of pranic healing is that it is clearing your energy field around you. And I think that has something to it. Yeah, I felt it. And you know what as well, because I'm at this point where I'm questioning things, you know, even if it's all in your head, if it helps, who cares? I really feel that it helped. So I would recommend this to anybody. If you've never done a healing, whether it's pranic, whether it's Reiki. I also had Reiki. I had lots of healings done, and they were so powerful. I would recommend getting one of these done. So recap: support network, going on medication if you need it. So seeing a professional, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a GP to talk about whether or not you need medication. They can recommend you to a psychologist, psychiatrist. Meditating, spirituality, reaching out to your guides or whoever you believe in, praying regularly, deep breathing, especially for anxiety. Deep breathing every single day and just focusing on the now is so helpful. And if you're having panic attacks, deep breathing brings your brain back to remembering that what you are scared of is not a threatening situation. So doing deep breathing is very, very helpful. If you are severely depressed, I know this next thing I'm about to talk about is a very hard thing to do when you're depressed, and that's gratitude. So being thankful for the little things. And the reason I say it's hard with depression is because when you're severely depressed, you can't feel happiness or grateful about anything. So this is very hard. But maybe in the beginning, just try and just fake it until you actually feel it. So if everything is just so bad and you can't be grateful for anything, just think about the fact that you're grateful that it's not, say, worse than this. Find anything, any blessing that you can be thankful for. This can help change your mindset. One of the last things I want to talk about is reading. So if you're feeling severely depressed and going through anxiety, reading is really helpful. Now I usually don't read as much as I should, but I did when I was going through this. And I've left some links in the description to books I found particularly helpful. Maybe you've already heard about a lot of these, but I hope that they have helped you in some way. Sometimes one thing can just pull you out of this. For example, medication. For example, seeing a psychologist or a counselor, getting a healing done. But a lot of the time with anxiety and depression, it is a few things that may help. So don't feel that if you've tried something, then you're beyond help. There are so many things. I haven't even spoken about half of the things. I just wanted to talk about what helped me, because I know there are a lot of other things that can help people that I haven't tried. So I just wanted to talk about what helped me, and hopefully it helps you too. If none of these things have helped you yet, don't worry, there will be something that can help you. Nobody is beyond help. Once again, if you have any questions, queries, you just want to talk about anything, email me at clearhealthyminds@gmail.com. Thank you for watching, and I hope you all recover soon. Thanks.